Oh boy, it's Kingdom Hearts 3! Now, I bet you're wondering what I thought about this game. I thought it was fucking amazing! But let's not get into that right now. So, Kingdom Hearts 3 was in the making for about 5 years, okay? We've been waiting for it for 10 years, it was in the making for about 5, and it's been done since 2016. All the rest of the time has been done polishing and working on it even more. So, was the extra time worth it? Was the wait worth it? I don't know, but we're about to find out. So, here we go. So after about 10 years of cock-teasiness, Square finally said, fuck! People want to see Kingdom Hearts 3, let's make it now. So we finally got it, and I gotta say, it's pretty fucking great. We had about 12 games before we even got to the third one, so that's pretty pathetic, but other than that, the wait was worth it. I mean, seriously, the way this game starts is amazing. We start off just like how Sora ended up in 1. He starts off waking up in a strange place in like a glass platform of himself. It's a very good contrast. Like, it starts off where we left off. Or, in this case, where we started off. And the game, plot-wise, it starts off also where we left off. You start off in the Hero Coliseum, where Sora, after Dreams Are Distant, has lost all of his power, and he needs to get all of it back. Sora kind of goes through this arc of wondering, like, can he get the strength back, and, like, what others think about him now that he's so weak. Which kind of shows doubt in Sora and grows him as a character. It's not only talk about that, but also, like, the Hero Coliseum is a great contrast to where, like, we're starting off also. Hero Coliseum was, like, one of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts games where you kind of went to it after the starting worlds, and it was like kind of like the second set. However, in this game, we're going right into it. We're going to the realm of the gods. We're going to fight titans at the start, so you know the game's going to be great. Also, look at these cutscenes. It looks amazing. Like, I would say Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably one of the best games I've ever seen. Not just in terms of gameplay, but just in terms of how it looks. Like, I remember there's so many parts of the game where I just wanted to take my time and walk around instead of blazing through a stage. Which brings me to my next point. Flow motion. Flow motion, everybody likes flow motion. It makes the game faster, it's really good. However, let's compare this to Dreams Are Distant, where flow motion was really, really broken. Seriously, I could go 30 minutes without touching the ground probably using flow motion and Dream Drop. In this game, however, the stage is like kind of built to compensate for the long design. In Dream Drop, to compensate for the flow motion gameplay, they had to make the area super large. It was like not natural. Like, look at this, like, this is a big-ass area of Twilight Town. Like, they had to space it out. Sora's like a very small pixel in the entire situation. And it just kind of altogether hurts the... Like, look at this! It's so unbalanced. Like, you just go everywhere constantly. Like, there's no time touching the ground. It's very unnatural, and that's why I don't like it. But in 3, they held it so perfectly. In 3, flow motion, I barely even touched it. Not because it was bad. It did get nerfed slightly, but it's not like, oh, it's unusable. But it got nerfed to where the point of it really didn't have a point of being used. Because the game looked so good, I found that I did not want to blaze through the game. I wanted to take my time. I wanted to see what it had to look and like what it had to offer. And it was very, very pleasing. Like, there were some points in the game where it was just like pretty eh. Like, it wasn't bad, but... And when I say some points of the game, I mean the Monsters Incorporated world, because like, that world, it doesn't look bad. But the designs of Sora, Donald, and Goofy just don't really seem to blend in. Like, they seem like a bit too forced. Like, they were like scrapped ideas for the Monsters Inc. 2 movie, whatever the fuck it's called, you know, movie that bombed. Also, let's talk about the gummy ship. Oh, the gummy ship. My heart swoons at the gummy ship in this game. Let's talk about this for a second. The gummy ship in 3 was so fucking good, okay? That's how you know it's a good Kingdom Hearts game, if the gummy ship was fun. Let's look at gummy ships in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. The gummy ships in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 were boring. It was just a point A to point B situation. You really had no control over the entire thing, and it wasn't rewarding. It wasn't something to test your skill, it was something to test your time. It was like, you had to have patience for it, and it was just there to kill time and extend the game to make it longer. Seriously, look at Kingdom Hearts 1, does this look fun? Are you having fun doing this? Just holding down the X button and going forward? Like, yeah, 2 improved upon this formula, but also, it didn't really change what the gummy ship was. It was just you looking at a screen as you held down X and kind of tilted the controller every now and then. There was no challenge, and like, it didn't reward you for it. It's just a waste of your time. It's just a way to make the game longer. It didn't serve any actual plot importance. It was just there to pad out the game and make you feel as if you were doing something important. And yeah, if you're going to have a game going from world to world, you want to like kind of emphasize that feeling of going to different worlds, but The gummy ships in 1 and 2 did not handle it well. Yes, gummy ships in 2 were an improvement, however, gummy ships were never really necessary for the plot and kind of wasted your time. However, in this game, you get rewarded for doing it. You get more items to mix for keyblades, you get other, like, money and stuff. Like, and it's just genuinely fun. Like, there's no flat A to B thing. You can just go any path you want. If you want to go the long route, you can, and, like, look at the scenery and blow up rocks and get rewards. If you want to go the short route and skip all the fights, you can. Not to mention, you can skip boss battles in the gummy ship. There's no fight you have to do in the gummy ship. You can just leave it as soon as you start it. That is a great way to have the gummy ship. If you do the gummy ship, you get rewarded for it. That's great. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. It's always an option, and that's what you should have for the gummy ships. Like, don't make people do it. The only time you have to do it is when you go into a new world, and even then, you're rewarded for doing it, and you don't have to actually do any battles. That's how you handle the gummy ship. It is good. But let's get off the gummy ship, because I don't want to talk about it the entire fucking video, even though I could. Let's move on to the combat. The combat in 3 is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It took the combat of 2 and made it feel more control. Yeah, 2 is amazing. I love Kingdom Hearts 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But this game is like if 2 was on steroids, and that's a good thing. Because just look at it. It not only looks amazing, but just the way your combat feels. Sora is more fluid. You can feel like you're in control of him. It's not like in 2 where you're just like blindly looking at a screen and mashing. Because like in 2, yeah, I loved it, but it didn't look aesthetically pleasing. It didn't have that same feel that 3 did. It's just like, oh, I'm looking at the screen and I'm attacking the enemy. In this game, you feel the fucking movement of Sora. You feel everything about it. It looks great. You want to look at it. There's no point in the game where I was like, oh, fuck, I gotta do this fight. No, I literally went out of my way to do fights. Like, and not only that, but the game rewards you for doing exploration. Like, for example, in the Hero Coliseum, you don't have to go do some of the shit in the world. But if you do, you're rewarded. For example, go under this, there's an under part of the Heroes Coliseum. I'm not sure what exactly it's called, but if you go there, you never encounter it on your first run through. If, like, you're just going through for the story, you blaze through the game. However, if you take your time and look through, you can find parts of the game that are never introduced in the story. But if you explore them, you get rewarded for it. And that's how you do exploration. You make it fun. You make it rewarding. You make it an option. You don't force the character to do it. You don't force the player to do it. That's not fun. If you're forcing the player to do something, it's not fun. Players want to feel like they're in control. That's how you should handle a game. It should always have that option of you being in control. You are the player. You're not the character. You're wanting to have fun. That brings me back to the controls. Like, the controls, it's so fluid, and, like, everything feels like it matters. Like, there's no attack with the Keyblade that doesn't feel like, oh, it's weak. Like, in 2, there's so many, like, parts of my Keyblade combos that I was like, why am I even doing this? It's just adding on to animations. And adding on to animations is another topic, because the animation is so fluid, it just looks great. Not to mention the combo attacks, where they're based off of themed rides and all this, and, like, it just all together looks good. There's no ugly, necessarily, part of the game. The only part I could say that even adds up to ugly is probably the Monsters Incorporated world, because I just did not find it myself aesthetically pleasing. Pleasing? Is that the word? No, it's better. Anyways, continue on. There's so much to say about this game. It's kind of hard to put my words into form, but I'm trying my best, and I can just say that this game is great, okay? But let's move on from the topic of why I can't talk about it, but let's move on to, like I was saying, the combat. The combat in this game is very fluid. Magic is amazing, okay? And finally we get water magic, which took way too long to do. But it feels good. It's strong, it's powerful, it suits to the magic playstyle. You can be a running gun, like assaulter, with like basically just using your Keyblade. Also, the lack of Keyblades is one thing that kind of turned me off in this game, but it's not bad. But nah, so if you just want to do basic attack, you can, but you're rewarded if you do magic or basic attack. There's no right or wrong situation, like there's always an option, and that's what I like about these games. You can do any build. Fuck, if you just go through the game and go on like easy mode and just fuck around, you'll have a great time. But if you want to do proud and you want to have a challenging time, you can do that. There's a playstyle for everybody, and it's great. Not only is there a playstyle for everybody, but I feel it's odd that there was no critical mode, even though critical mode feels like it's needed in Kingdom Hearts to be a thing. But, it's whatever. Proud mode's good enough. And the difficulty held in Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually not how much damage they do. The plot of Kingdom Hearts 3, or the playstyle of Kingdom Hearts 3 would be more accurate, takes difficulty and takes a new turn at it that the series has never really had before. Instead of the enemies doing high damage and doing high pursuit attacks, they're pretty basic. Like, there's no enemies in the game where I'd say, like, oh, the damage is insane unless you were fighting a boss. But the way Kingdom Hearts 3 compensates for it is not with stats, but with how many heartless or unversed or nobodies, like whichever situation you're really in. There's really no for sure enemy in the game, because like there's so many, like there's like unversed, heartless, and nobodies. But the way they compensate for them being weak compared to you is having so many of them, and that is a great way to make difficulty in the game. Your problem's no longer, oh, how much damage am I going to take? The problem is, how much damage are they going to do per second? Because like, the damage you take could be like huge, but you'll survive with second chance. But if you have so many enemies attacking you, that difficulty is now up. Because you gotta multitask, you gotta watch what you're doing. It's no longer just a run and gun them attack. You gotta watch your enemies. You gotta make sure you take the weaker ones out, then focus on the harder ones. That's what you should do. It's just very well done. It's very fluid. Like I said, there's no point in the game where it's like, oh, had this be fucking over. And that brings me to my next topic, the time. Kingdom Hearts 3 is fairly, I don't use the word short, but let's compare it to 2. Kingdom Hearts 2, my first run through, was about 40 minutes long with doing all the side stuff and everything I could. That's pretty decent. In Kingdom Hearts 3, it's kind of cut in half. It's like, I finished the game on Proud Mode, my first run through, about like 20 hours in, yeah. 20 hours. So, yeah, it's long, but it's not long compared to the games. However, let's see how this is a good thing. So, let's go look back at Kingdom Hearts 2, okay? Kingdom Hearts 2, I love Kingdom Hearts 2, but it is not perfect, okay? It drags on in some places, and it really feels like they're just killing time. For example, the gummy ships. For example, the Lion King world. For example, add fucking Atlantica. Who wants that? Nobody likes Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts games. It's fucking boring and tedious. Hell, I say fucking Reach Into Memories, a game I hate, did Atlantica well. There's no song parts, there's no freaking garbage-ass undersea animations or fucking controls. It was just a good time compared to the rest of the game. Let me clarify that. Reach Into Memories did it bad. But just on the topic of Reach Into Memories, is the only other game to do what this game did and have dodge roll from the start, which, oh boy, that was a great idea. In any single Kingdom Hearts game, dodge roll should be an option from the start, and this game got that right. And it's weird to say, but Reach Into Memories was the first game to do that. Give you dodge roll from the start of the game. It's like not a ability that you have to go out of your way to get. Hell, Kingdom Hearts 2 didn't even have dodge roll originally. It was added into the 2.5 remix, I think. So just think about that. Like, this is the weird topic I like to think about, but not. So there's so many parts of the game where it's like this is a fluid, good-looking game. And like I kind of ramble on here and there, but it's because like there's so much to say, and every time I get talking about it, there's more to talk about. Anything that was in my head that was like not in it a second ago suddenly comes back. For example, I was just talking about Atlantica. There's no Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts 3. That is amazing! Everybody hates Atlantica. And the way they handled underwater fights in the Caribbean in this game was amazing. You're no longer like doing mermaid kicks and having like stilted moving cycles. You're now floating through the water, throwing your keyblade just like a normal person would. And it's amazing. Plus, underwater magic is different from normal magic, which, thank God, because I always thought it was stupid how Fyra was not any different underwater, which, yeah, they call it Sea Fyra and like Sea Watera or Sea Thundera, and it's fucking great. There's no point in the underwater parts where I was like, oh, let me get this done. I just had a good time. And if I could have kept doing it on stream, I would have. However, here comes another problem with Kingdom Hearts 3. The streaming problems it has. And what do I mean by that? Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 is kind of having a problem when it comes to copyright, okay? And I don't know exactly why, but a lot of the live streams of this game that came out, I got a copyright strike for it too. If you had live streamed this game the day it came out, you got a copyright strike. I don't know the reason why, but that's why I kind of had to stop doing it. So it's very limited in what you can show this game. So that's why I'm really just showing gameplay, not a lot of cutscenes. However, I will show this cutscene right here with Aqua, Sora, and Riku. And finally, with this, we get to the plot. The plot of the game is amazing, okay? And I probably should have stated this from the start, but I'll have to do it in the title instead. Spoilers alert! Holy shit. Spoilers are incredible right now. This is going to be a large part of the video where I talk about the whole entire story, so you may want to back out now if you can. That was a fair warning. Here we go. This game's story, the ending of it had me in tears. I shit you not. I cried at the ending of this game. This game was the icing on the cake. It was the finisher of the series, but let me specify. It was the finisher for the Xehanort part of the series, and the whole Ventus Aqua Roxas, Axel, like all that shit. It was kind of like everybody got their happy ending except Sora, which was happy and bittersweet, because like it drives Sora's character further, okay? Sora as a character has always been the type to have his happiness come last. He wants everybody to be happy, and he does that in this game. The game, I don't know if you know this, but spoiler alert, Sora is either A, dead, or B, gone, because he disappears at the final cutscene of the game and Kairi cries. Excuse me. But in the process of doing that, he gives everybody else a happy ending. Aqua, Ventus, and Terra reunite. Terra gets his body back. Aqua is no longer Anti-Aqua like in this fight right here. And Ventus finally wakes up. Then you got Roxas, Axel, and Xion, who kind of all come back together. Roxas comes back, Xion comes back, Axel gets happy. Axel cries at so many parts of the game it hurts. And let's also talk about this. Organization 13 and the whole League of Xehanorts. They are done so good in this game. Sayax sucked in 2. Sayax was the least interesting member of Organization 13, and it was he felt like very generic. He wasn't very interesting. He was kind of stilted, and he was just like the strong, silent type who never showed any emotion. However, in this game, his relationship with Axel, or Lee, who he was friends with before he died when he was Aiza, his relationship with Axel is developed and dwelled upon. It's no longer just a, oh, you're friends with other people. It's now a, I joined Organization 13 because I was mad. I was mad at you, you left me behind. That's why I'm doing this. It was not a necessarily, oh my god, amazing drive, but it gave him character. It was no longer just a generic character. It was a character who had purpose. And he also got some parts with Axel in this game where it was like, oh, that's very sweet. And like, it was like just very touching that they finally did something with him. It just kind of sucked that in the past games it took this long to do it. But that's why this game's amazing. It took flaws that the last 2 games had and made them good. Also, back on the topic of characters, Marluxia, Luxord, Luxine, all 3 of them, like where you fight them, they all kind of get plot points where you're like, I like them. Marluxia shows signs of emotion. Luxine shows that she had her purposes of joining the organization. She did not like working for Xehanort, but she did because she quote-unquote liked somebody in the group. Also, Luxord was honorary. Luxord, like, had very good development. He was actually likable. He was a man of honor who fought the enemies the way he wanted to. He didn't pull any cheat moves. He gave Sora a fair fight and he lost. He was like, I want to fight you again someday, Sora. That's a good character. That's how you do a character. And not to mention, excuse me, Vanitas' character in this game is no longer just evil Sora. He actually had somewhat of a sweet ending. Vanitas ended by accepting what he was, and that is a great way to have a character. He didn't die like fucking the other Organization 13 members. He died the way he wanted to. A villain. He didn't have like a whole redemption. He was just like, yeah, I'm evil, I accept it. That's how you do a villain character. You make them accept who they are and have a focus or a drive. And not only that, but let's talk about Ansem and Xemnas. Ansem and Xemnas in the past 2 games were kind of just like characters who were like, oh, they're evil, they want to take over the world, whatever the fuck. But in this game, Xemnas is kind of shown to be, I don't want to say like Goku, but he's kind of like, he seems like to have a Saiyan attitude. He remarks people for their strength, and he even says before he dies, man, this is painful. Having a heart must take a lot of strength. You must be very strong. Xemnas is no longer just a, oh, I want to kill everybody bad guy. He's just there because he wants a good time. And once he realizes it's not bad having a heart, he changes as a character, and that's done so well. And Ansem, too. Ansem kind of has like a whole moment where he was like, I knew I'd lose this fight, but I still just wanted to fight you. Like, they're no longer just evil bad guys who are just bad for the sake of being bad. They're evil bad guys who have a purpose and have a reason to be bad. That is how you write a character. It's not just to be evil, like Luxine did in Reach and Memories, where she stated she knowingly was the bad guy. Because that no longer makes the bad guy endearing. You want a bad guy to be endearing. You want a bad guy to have a drive that makes the watcher be like, oh, I get it. And they did it in such a way it was no longer stereotypical. And like I was saying, everybody gets a happy ending. Xion gets a happy ending. Fucking Naminé gets a happy ending. Everybody gets a happy ending, and that is how you write a game. And the secret ending, if you don't know, where Sora wakes up, shows that there's more to the story. It's no longer Sora is like dead at the end of this game. It's that Sora is gone. Sora has somewhere he is right now. And Verum Rex, a character who is referenced in the Toy Story world, is in the city with him at the end of the cutscene. So there's so much this game has to offer, and there's so much that there is to do. It is just so well done. Like, there's never a part in the game where I was like, can I finish this like I was in 1 or 2? I just wanted to have a good time, and it's so short, but it's so sweet, if that makes sense. This game knows its limits. It knows that it's not supposed to be long. It knows that it has its limits, and it knows where they are. So, what it does is it has exploration that you can do to continue playing while you're done. But the story is just icing on the cake, and it's like, just have what you've been waiting for. And that is what people want. People want just something satisfying. It's like a dessert, okay? If you keep eating a dessert, it's gonna lose its taste, and repugnant. It's gonna become repugnant, okay? That's what happens with some games, and I hate that. I love Kingdom Hearts 2, but it got repetitive. It got boring at some points. I just want to get done with the story. But in this game, it's so short and so sweet. That's hard for it to happen. And I'm sad that this game was so short, but I'm kind of glad at the same time. It didn't drag on. It didn't hurt the fucking game as a whole experience. It was fun, and it knew it, and it gave you the time to have it. So, what do I think of Kingdom Hearts 3 as a whole? I think it is probably the best we've gotten out of the series. It looks great, it feels great. I don't want to do that whole, it makes you feel like Sora crap, but I wouldn't say that, but you feel as if you're in control of Sora. It feels really good. The combat's very fluid, the magic's amazing, flow motion is done well. It can be good in some situations, but you don't want to blaze through the stages. You want to take your time, you want to look at it. It's great. And if you have not played it yourself, I commend you. Go play Kingdom Hearts 3 right now. You will have a great time, I guarantee it. If you're a member of the Kingdom Hearts community who has enjoyed it for a long time, you can also go do it, but I would suggest doing it on Proud Mode. Because if you're a true Kingdom Hearts fan, Proud Mode is the way to enjoy this game the most. Because it's a fun challenge, and if you played the game series long enough, you know you'll enjoy it. That's all I can say. But if you're new to the series, go to beginner. Just pick magic or do whatever the fuck you want. Have fun. There's really no challenge to beginner mode. It's just a fun mode. Or you can just be basic and go normal mode and just have a nice time. So, there's a little bit something for everybody here, and I feel like this game is amazing. So, where do I leave this game off in a rating kind of sense? Well, I'd say it's the best the Kingdom Hearts games have ever gotten, and I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. If they fixed the monsters in these worlds, and they gave us more Keyblades, and gave us some DLC with more story content, this game would be perfect. I just bit my cheek, and I think I'm gonna have to end the video. Holy fuck. Yeah, but no, so, it's a great game. That's all I can say. I hope you enjoyed the video, and watch my show. Now you know, enjoy the content, you're free to go. Peace out, and I hope you enjoyed the game. Bye.